just numbers. Like,
No, the rest is actually not just numbers. The rest has got a pattern, and that pattern has got a name, but that name hasn't been discovered. If you can tell me.
The limit of x is x approaches 0 is sort of an idea, and sometimes we, and
It's all an idea.
it describes only one thing, but it's like saying, what are all the numbers apart from 4 called? Well, you can just say they're all the numbers apart from 4.
Not 4. No.
Not 4. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the answer to your question. Like,
okay, can you put it into real terms?
Sure. What are all the things in this room that isn't the guitar called? We don't have a special word for it.
We should have a special word for it because a special guitar does exist.
No, because we have the language of maths to adequately describe it.
We can say that we don't need another word in this universe. And I'm telling you, I'm asking the question because I reckon we do.
We can use it, and if it becomes useful enough to, keep on using, then it'll survive.
Here's the reason why it's useful. If there's an application for this function should exist and have a name all of its own. That's why I'm not really happy with fucking years of study. Fucking things got me around. Nobody else is looking at it. Me, I've got an issue. I'm working with the principal, but this is recognising that I'm getting fucking serious results. And what's against serious asset, which is a result. I'm looking for peer review. The thing ain't got no name, and it's integral to what I'm studying.
But we don't need a name because we can talk about it and we can describe it perfectly.
Not in maths we can because I have a name.
We can just say.
We need to look at the thing. What is the thing from your point of view?
Everything in which isn't.
That which
isn't has got a name.
But
it's got a name in language. It's called civilization.
Oh yeah.
I want to say in mathematics, I am the root cause of disintegration of civilization. Everything up until this point. I am that because I'm the last bit which cannot be sent to bottom. Thus there should be a language for I exist.
Well, if you wanted to describe yourself in that context, you could say that you're infinitesimal.
And the rest of it is ball.
Non-infinitesimal.
Wow.
Which is a negation. Which should have its own name. Otherwise,
surely the word no would be more fundamental and more in need of a word that isn't a negation.
Otherwise the entity which is identifiable. The entity which is not. And that makes perfect sense, but there should be an equation for it, and because there is no symbol.
Well, I think you're completely right when you say that you're probably deeper into this than I do, because I really can't understand this.
Okay,
I'm shocked.
I might not fully understand the depth of what is attempting to be transacted through this multi-dimensional portal.
But, tea I'm sorry.
Sure. Take it. So, when I've amassed what I am as a ethnicity, okay, now there's Anglo-Indian, German, Canadian, Irish, which is really fucking unlikely. Right?
German?
You got a lot better saying that.
Yeah. But what I mean in my heart by what I am as a species, people say, well, your man Bob was saying it a lot, I am human. He was using it as an excuse. And I hear that a lot. And I didn't feel that defining myself as this human thing that everybody uses as an excuse is being
given a genre in a way, but
Hixie. It was this thing I heard of that sounded kind of interesting because it's kind of by definition impossible.
Let me jump in if you will. Okay. And if you remember it, you can jump back up and punch back. That's the same as question. I have a problem in reality. If I could describe that problem, it wouldn't be a problem anymore, such as mine. I have a problem with reality because there is no consensus for what I understand.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, maths can't be seen as absolute either. Like which sucks.
It's a lot better than opinion.
I am someone which, when I describe it, the rest of me can define themselves.
Okay.
Just like a skateboard for 22 years so far. Skateboard.
I've seen it happen really clearly.
In the proof of this principle, all I keep getting back to skateboard, I think because I worked out something that doesn't work. I worked out work. The only problem is the rest of the peer review, the rest of humanity itself, has no vantage point for me. It has no self-identity relative to what you can describe me, but you can't describe it except in the negative. It's not me. I live in a physical plane where I'm a baby. I've seen the baby. I've seen the mother. What's my heart range? Good love to it. This is its most extreme pain point, and I'm very glad to be able to describe it in absence of emotion. And service to humanity, my heart is wrenched right to there. It's about 150 degrees, and that is a bunch of before 4 points back. So, been wrenched this way before. Because I'm not much good principle, which does exist, which I have found.
Wait, you're not saying that you're gonna leave B? That's
I
okay.
am saying
He is.
that almost 3 times these mums left me.
Wow.
Almost 3 mothers before these mum have left me.
It's like they've seen what they're doing and they do it anyway, kind of thing. It's weird. And really tragic.
So this problem with me from an intellectual thing, I mean, look how much I've sobered up in the last 5 minutes, isn't it? Because of chemicals that got drunk.
Sure.
It's because of
Yeah.
the necessity to reciprocate.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
I, as that tiniest fraction, find that I become
To lighten the mood, if you're willing to give me 6 minutes without interrupting, and then you're able to ask all the questions in the world, I will give you a sort of literal proof of, well, it's very much related to time travel, which you'll possibly be excited by. And in fact, I'm pretty much going to show you time travel. Okay. Sorry about my state of undress. It's just really warm. Okay.
I was intrigued before you apologised for it, and then I thought, oh yeah.
Okay, so we have.
By the way, I had been doing about 45 seconds of silence before you went
I
and
don't.
became so fucking interesting.
I'm sorry. This is good, but like you have to sort of take it in because I will explain it vigorously so that you will know that this is a fact and this is what we live in and it's awesome. And you might already have had this thought that this thing happens, but
404 minutes.
the proof and the certainty is beautiful in itself. So we have a universe, which we'll call a space. We have a space. And there are a few different explanations for how the universe works, and this applies to all of them. We're going to look at the 3-dimensional universe with time as well. If it's 4 dimensions, it doesn't matter. It's still a space. And at some point, you could have had a Big Bang or something, and you've got something that goes really small and it goes really big, and then it sort of goes back again, if you like that theory, or if you like a standard static space, you can have that too.
Can you
Either
tell me
one.
what actually is? Never mind one of your fucking module things.
It won't take long, and you can ask any questions at the end. Okay, so you've got some space, and we're going to draw it. Here we go. So that's a bounded space. It's just a little square, and either it's got an average size or it's just always the same size, but either way, we can look at that. Then this space is really, really interesting because it's got stuff in it. So we're going to put some stuff in it. Now, matter. There is a finite amount of matter in the universe. That kind of makes sense. We've only got so much there. We know how much can be created from energy. We know that there's some amount of energy, and we know that the amount of energy in the universe doesn't change. The conservation of energy thing, even if it changes into matter, well, we just call matter energy. So we've got a box, and we've got some stuff in the box. Awesome. Now the stuff in the box is really, really interesting because there's energy there. So the stuff in the box is doing stuff, and we know that whenever we boil a kettle, the energy that came from maybe heating up coal or whatever and then turning a turbine, it goes along and it becomes potential energy, and then it's here, and basically this stuff is not going to run out because each time something knocks into something, something else knocks into something, and so we have energy. So this stuff is always moving around. So we've got a box and we've got some stuff in the box, and that stuff is doing things. And that's really exciting because the stuff in the box and in a certain amount of space, there's only so many combinations these things can get into. They can be like this, or they can be like this, or whatever. And they can
look at the forks and this is a box and
This is a box.
yeah,
There's
and there are
in this
only
box.
so many places that we could stand in this room, and we're constantly moving. So, if we have a room and some people in the room, and the people are always moving, they're going to get into this position, and if we left it long enough, I'm sure I'd be over there, and we'd all be in different combinations and sort of permutations, or just different arrangements of us or matter in the universe. Now, this is really, really exciting because the other bit that we haven't talked about yet is time, and there's as much time as we like. There's no reason to think that time isn't infinite. It's really weird to think about a stop to time. So, we've got stuff in the box, and it's always moving around. And in enough time, and we have infinite of it, it's going to get into every single possible combination. All these atoms are going to arrange themselves in every way. So, in a very concrete and real and literal sense, everything will happen, and everything has happened, and everything will happen an infinite number of times. If it has a non-zero probability, you multiply it by infinity and you get that it happens infinitely.
Schrodinger's potential gun.
Not quite though. It pretty much means that we have had this conversation. Billions of squillions of any number you can think of, all the numbers are bigger than it, sort of number. But yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Any number you choose, there's going to be like pretty much all the numbers that are way bigger than it, because there's a finite number of numbers smaller than any number and an infinite number of numbers bigger than any number. So if we chose like
Not true.
any finite number, no, why not?
Why would it be lopsided?
Lopsided.
Well, okay, you can go into negative numbers and say there's an infinite
Okay,
number of
we
negatives.
Half-life of half-life, the ball never stops bouncing. It's as small as it is big.
Also, we assumed that there wasn't an infinite number of configurations of.
We know it is. That assumption I'm not handling. Anything can bounce to infinity.
Yeah, but it was precluded in the model.
Explain how come if it's real based, not an abstraction, it can do that. Can it do that really?
What?
Show me. We're in a room.
There's an infinite number of combinations. I've been a year and a half, and although I haven't achieved infinity yet, there's been
Oh, yeah.
yet. The matter,
May you take.
Here's the
there's
thing,
an
you don't...
infinite number of combinations of matter.
So, sorry, I interrupted 2.5 minutes left in that space.
There aren't an infinite number of combinations of matter. There might be an infinite number of combinations if you say that something happening like this configuration that my hand is in and this are different things, because space isn't necessarily quantized and has little boxes for everything to go in. But that doesn't really matter, because if I say this conversation has happened an infinite number of times before and will again, it doesn't really matter if our whole universe